Time. It slips through your hands like water, indifferent to your dreams. The world spins uncaring, while countless souls drift through days and years, waiting for a sign, a surge of inspiration, a whisper that will rouse them from slumber. But what they do not realize, what so few are ever taught, is that the world does not move for those who wait. It moves for those who act. Every morning you rise, the universe presents you with a silent challenge. Will you shape this day, or will you let it shape you? In the quiet before dawn, while the city still sleeps, destiny leans in close and dares you to move. It does not matter who you are, where you come from, or what's behind you. The only thing that matters in this moment is your willingness to force yourself into motion, to take massive action, even when every fiber of your being begs for comfort. This is the truth that men like Thomas Edison understood when he scorched his fingers on 1,000 failed filaments. It is what drove Abraham Lincoln to rise from defeat after defeat, battered but unbroken, until he forged a new hope for a fractured nation. It is the code that propelled a young Walt Disney, broke and ridiculed, to sketch a world from the ground up, one bold stroke at a time. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait for perfect timing. They seized life with both hands, wrestled it to the ground, and demanded results. But action, real, relentless, unyielding action, does not come naturally. It must be summoned, forged in the furnace of decision and discipline. Your mind, left unchecked, is a master of hesitation, spinning stories of why you cannot, why you should not, why tomorrow will be easier. The comfort zone is a velvet prison, and inside its walls, nothing grows. Every dream that ever died, every vision that withered on the vine, was a casualty of inaction. And yet, inside you, there is an ember that refuses to die. That ember is possibility. It is the whisper that says, you are meant for more. But possibility on its own is nothing but a ghost, intangible, weightless, forgotten with the turning of the calendar page. To bring it to life, you must force yourself to move, not just once, not just when you feel like it, but every day in the face of fear, fatigue, and uncertainty. It is in those moments, when you are tired, uninspired, and the world seems to conspire against you, that the decision to act becomes sacred. Anyone can work when motivation is high. Anyone can dream when hope is abundant. But the rare few who force themselves to take massive action again and again, whether the sun shines or the rain falls, those are the ones who bend reality to their will. You must become a master over your mind, not its servant. Your mind is a tool, a weapon, and sometimes a saboteur. It will do everything it can to keep you safe, to keep you small, to protect you from the unknown. But greatness is always found on the other side of discomfort. Every leap forward begins with a single, defiant act against the inertia of the ordinary. Picture Henry Ford, standing in the face of ridicule, told that the world had no need for horseless carriages. Imagine the laughter that echoed in the halls when the Wright brothers announced they would fly. The world is quick to doubt, quick to judge, quick to dismiss. But action is the answer. Action silences critics, drowns out doubts, and carves a path where none existed before. You do not need more inspiration. You do not need another plan, another strategy, another reason to wait. You need to move. You need to force your hand, push past the hesitation, smash through the wall of fear, and place one trembling foot in front of the other. It is only in the doing that you become the person you were meant to be. The first step is always the hardest. The mind rebels, the body resists, and the echoes of your old self try to pull you back. But with every action, no matter how small, you chip away at the old identity, and a new one begins to emerge. One who does not wait, one who does not ask, one who acts. There is a secret that the world's most successful people have always known: massive action is not a single event. It is a habit, a lifestyle, a relentless commitment to forward motion. When you force yourself to act, even when you are scared, you teach your mind that you are in control. You build self-respect. You build momentum. And momentum is the force that topples mountains. Do not look to others for permission. Do not wait for the world to tell you it is your time. The world will never tell you. It will never clear the way. You must force your way forward through the resistance, through the noise, through the fog of uncertainty. Every great life is built on a foundation of forced action. The willingness to do what others will not, to step where others will not dare, to move when others stand still. It is not enough to want. It is not enough to wish. Desire without action is a mirage, a cruel illusion. The only thing that counts, the only thing that changes anything, is what you do, especially when it's hard. So, let the world sleep. Let the doubters talk. Let the fear rise. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to force yourself to take massive action, to become a living example of what is possible when a single human being decides to move. And in that movement, in that relentless forward march, you will find the power to reshape your world. Stand in front of a mirror and look yourself in the eyes, not with the gaze of yesterday's self, clouded by excuses and stifled potential, but with the piercing honesty of someone who knows the truth. You have always been one action away from a new destiny. The gap between you and a life that sets your soul ablaze is not fate, nor luck, nor the judgment of others. It is a gap built from the bricks of hesitation, mortared by the stories you tell yourself, stories about who you are and what you deserve. But these stories are not written in stone. They are rewritten every single day by the hand that dares to act. The world is full of silent graveyards for the dreams that people never forced themselves to chase. Hopes left behind, visions abandoned on the roadside of comfort, inventions that flickered once in the mind and then faded, unbuilt and unseen. You have seen these ghosts in the eyes of those who settled, who surrendered their fire in exchange for safety. But you are not here to become another shadow in the crowd. You are here to rise, to choose discomfort over ease, to choose growth over stagnation, to choose action over regret. The battlefield of success is not out there, somewhere in the distant world. It is inside you, in the space between thought and action, where the war for your future is won or lost. Every time you force yourself to move, no matter how small the step, you claim territory from your old self. You send a message to the universe. I refuse to be defined by yesterday. I am forging a new path, one bold decision at a time. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is a fickle wind, coming and going without warning. The most successful among us do not rely on fleeting feelings. They build their lives on discipline, on the iron law of action. When the alarm rings, they rise. When the day brings resistance, they lean in. When doubt creeps in, they drown it out with movement, because they know that action is the alchemy that turns dreams into reality. Think of Nelson Mandela pacing the tiny cell on Robben Island, day after day, year after year, never knowing if freedom would come, never knowing if his sacrifice would matter. Did he wait for motivation? No, he acted from conviction. He forced himself to keep moving, to keep believing, to keep fighting, when all hope seemed lost. And in the end, his relentless action broke the chains, not just for himself, but for millions. You are the architect of your habits, and your habits in turn become the architecture of your life. If you force yourself to take massive action, day after day, you shift the entire trajectory of your existence. You become a person who does not negotiate with fear, who does not bow to comfort, who does not accept less than their potential demands. You become unstoppable. Clarity is born in motion. Do not make the mistake of waiting until you know every step, every outcome, every risk. The path unfolds as you walk it. The fog clears with every stride forward. Most people wait for the perfect plan before they move. But the truth is, perfection is a prison. It is a disguise for fear. Those who achieve greatness force themselves to act before the plan is complete, trusting that each step will reveal the next. What is it that calls to you now? What is the vision that stirs in the quiet hours of the night, the possibility that haunts you with its promise? Do not ignore it. Do not bury it beneath the noise of daily life. Instead, let it ignite you. Write it down. Speak it aloud. And then, before doubt can take root, take one action, no matter how small, no matter how imperfect. The first step is the crack in the dam. It is the breach that lets your future flood in. Your mind will scream for comfort. It will beg for delay. It will conjure every reason why today is not the day, why you are not ready, why failure is inevitable. But you are not your mind. You are the master, not the servant. You have the power to command yourself, to override the ancient machinery that wants only to keep you safe and unchanged. When you force yourself to act, you break the spell. You teach your nervous system that discomfort is not danger, that uncertainty is not death. Every act of courage, no matter how small, is a signal to your subconscious. I am a person who takes action. I am a creator, not a captive. It is discipline that carries you when motivation falters. Discipline is the quiet resolve in the early morning, the willingness to do what must be done, even when no one is watching. It is forged through repetition, through 1,000 moments of choosing action over comfort. It is the steel backbone of every great achievement. Consider the athletes who train before dawn, the artists who paint through the night, the entrepreneurs who work while others dream. Their lives are not built on bursts of inspiration, but on the relentless rhythm of disciplined action. They do not wait for energy. They generate it. They do not wait for opportunities. They create them. If you want to change your life, you must become ruthless with your time. Every minute spent in hesitation is a minute stolen from your future. The clock is always ticking, indifferent to your fears, unmoved by your excuses. Time is the great equalizer. It grants the same 24 hours to the billionaire and the beggar, the visionary and the victim. What you do with those hours is the only thing that matters. Start now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Readiness is a myth, a story we tell ourselves to justify delay. The only way to be ready is to begin. Action creates readiness. Action creates confidence. Action creates the very future you desire. You owe it to yourself, not just to dream, but to do. Not just to hope, but to hustle. Not just to imagine, but to insist on progress with every fiber of your being. The world does not reward intention. It rewards execution, perseverance, the daily grind of doing what others will not. There is a primal law of existence that no one escapes. What you plant, you will harvest. Action is the sowing of seeds. Some days you plant in rocky soil, under heavy skies, with hands tired and spirit weary. But if you keep planting, if you force yourself to show up again and again, eventually the harvest comes. It comes not for those who wish, but for those who work while wishing. The universe bends to sustained, determined action. It rewards the relentless, the bold, the persistent. But know this massive action is rarely glamorous. It is not the highlight reel, not the applause, not the victory lap. It is the quiet work behind closed doors, the extra rep when no one is counting, the late nights and early mornings fueled by nothing but vision and grit. It is the willingness to be misunderstood, to endure ridicule, to fail and get up, to stumble and stand taller. Every titan you admire, Carnegie, Jobs, Oprah, Musk, earned their legacy not in flashes of genius, but in the trenches of unglamorous, consistent, massive action. Your legacy is being written right now in the choices you make when no one is watching. Every time you force yourself to move, even a single inch, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. When you choose discipline over distraction, courage over comfort, effort over excuse, you transform identity into destiny. Vision is vital, but vision without action is daydreaming. To see your vision manifest, you must nurture it with sweat. You must protect it with persistence. You must water it with daily action. The world is littered with abandoned visions. Ideas never acted on, goals never pursued, gifts never developed. Do not add your vision to the pile of what might have been. Let it burn within you, and let that fire drive your feet forward. Purpose is the compass, but action is the engine. Find your why. Dig deep until you uncover the reason that makes you rise when others sleep, that keeps you going when others quit. Let your purpose be so clear, so visceral, that it drags you through the storms and setbacks. But remember, purpose alone is powerless without action. The world does not respond to what you believe, it responds to what you do. If you wait until you feel inspired, you will wait forever. Inspiration often comes after the first step, not before. Action begets clarity. Action begets momentum. Action begets belief. Every time you act, you rewrite the script of your life. You prove to yourself that you are capable, resourceful, resilient. Each action is a building block, a stepping stone, a declaration that you are not here to live on the sidelines. Gratitude is the fuel that keeps the fire burning. When you act, pause to recognize how far you've come. Celebrate the courage it takes to move when fear snarls at your heels. Be grateful for the obstacles, for they are the proving grounds of greatness. Every setback is a lesson in disguise. Every challenge is an invitation to grow. The greatest achievers are those who learn to be grateful not just for success, but for the struggle that forged it. Adaptability is your ally. The world is in constant motion, and those who cling to rigid plans are swept aside. Be like water, willing to shift, to flow, to change course when life demands it. If a door closes, find a window. If the path disappears, carve a new one. The ability to adapt is the mark of the action taker. It is what separates those who endure from those who fade. Resilience is the armor you will wear on this journey. When you force yourself to take massive action, you will stumble. You will fall. The world will test you, not once, but 100 times. But each time you rise, you grow stronger. Each time you refuse to surrender, you build a deeper belief in your own power. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the refusal to be defined by it. Let every failure be your teacher. Let every scar remind you that you dared, you tried, you lived. The greatest victories are often preceded by the greatest defeats. What matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you force yourself to rise. Refuse to stay down. Refuse to give in. Force yourself to act again and again until the world has no choice but to make way for you. Learning is the lever of progress. Every action, every mistake, every attempt is a lesson. The path of massive action is paved with learning curves. Seek wisdom in every experience, and never be too proud to start as a beginner. The most powerful people in history are those who never stopped learning, never stopped growing, never stopped acting. When you move, you awaken parts of yourself you never knew existed. You discover strengths that lay dormant, passions that had faded, skills you never imagined. Action is a mirror that reveals the truth of who you are and who you can become. So, what will you do with this day? What will you do with this hour, this moment, this breath? The power is in your hands, right now. The world is waiting for you to make your move. Not for the perfect plan, not for the easy road, but for the decision to act fully, forcefully, relentlessly. There will be days when you do not feel ready. Days when the weight of doubt presses down and every step feels impossible. But those are the days that matter most. Those are the days when you forge your character, when you separate yourself from the crowd, when you prove to yourself and to the world that you are a force to be reckoned with. There is a moment in every journey when the path splits. One road leads back to comfort, to the familiar ache of unrealized dreams. The other leads into the wild unknown, into the territory of those who dare, those who fight, those who act. Most turn back at this crossroads, seduced by the siren song of safety. But those who force themselves to step forward, trembling and uncertain, are the ones who discover just how deep their strength runs. History does not remember the passive. It remembers the ones who moved, who shook the world awake with the thunder of their actions. Florence Nightingale, nursing the wounded through filth and chaos, changed the fate of medicine not by waiting for acceptance, but by forcing her vision into the world with relentless work. Nelson Mandela, chained in the darkness of a prison cell, found freedom first in his mind and then in the actions that rippled out to free a nation. These men and women did not possess some magical gift. They possessed an indomitable will to act, to keep pushing forward when every door slammed shut. You, too, are made of this same stuff. The blood that ran through the veins of Lincoln and Tubman runs through yours. The fire that burned in Edison and Tesla flickers behind your rib cage. It is not fate that divides the doers from the dreamers, but the simple, ruthless discipline of action. Every morning you rise, you are given a choice: build or wait, move or hesitate, lead or follow. Do not be fooled by the glamour of the finish line. Every legend you have ever admired was once a novice, fumbling through darkness, riddled with doubts. They did not know all the answers. They did not have a guarantee. They simply forced themselves to begin. With every step, they learned. With every mistake, they grew. With every act, they built momentum, and momentum is the great equalizer, able to transform the powerless into the powerful. There will be days when your energy is low, when setbacks seem endless, when the voices in your own head urge you to quit. In these moments, remember, action is the antidote to despair. When the weight of the world presses down, move, however slowly, however clumsily. Action creates hope where there was none. Action is the spark that lights the darkness. The world rewards the relentless. It rewards the ones who show up, rain or shine, ready or not. It rewards those who build habits of action so deeply rooted that quitting is no longer an option. Do not let your mood dictate your movement. Let your mission dictate your mood. Fall in love with the process, with the discipline, with the daily grind. The outcome belongs to those who refuse to be mastered by their emotions. You may feel alone on this path, but you are never truly alone. Every person who has ever created something great has walked this road of uncertainty. They have felt the sting of rejection, the shame of failure, the ache of exhaustion, but they pressed on. They forced themselves to act in the face of all evidence to the contrary, and in doing so, they discovered the secret. Greatness is not in the result, but in the relentless pursuit. Your story is unwritten. Every day, every hour, every moment is a blank page waiting for the imprint of your actions. Do not hand that pen to circumstance. Do not let fear or indecision write your script. Force yourself into the narrative. Be the author of your destiny, the architect of your future. Each action is a word, a sentence, a chapter. Write one worth reading. You will be tested, not once, not twice, but 1,000 times. The universe will ask, how badly do you want it? Your answer will not be found in your words or your wishes, but in what you do when it gets hard, when you are tired, when you are afraid, when the world tells you to stop. Force yourself to answer with action. Again and again, there is no arrival point, no final destination where you can rest forever on your laurels. Life is a continual becoming, a never-ending journey of growth and expansion. The moment you stop forcing yourself to act, you begin to drift. Complacency is the silent assassin of dreams. Guard yourself against it with daily, intentional action. Surround yourself with reminders of what is possible. Read the stories of those who came before. Study the lives of the men and women who changed the world, not with bursts of brilliance, but with years of unglamorous effort. Let their struggles fuel your fire. Let their victories remind you that greatness is forged in the crucible of consistency. Action is contagious. When you force yourself to move, you inspire those around you to do the same. You become a beacon, a living example of what is possible. Your courage to act becomes the permission slip for others to break free from their own inertia. Never underestimate the ripple effect of your discipline. There will always be a reason to wait, always another excuse within reach. But if you look beyond the noise, you will see that the only thing standing between you and your wildest ambitions is the willingness to move. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, let the sweat on your brow be your signature. Let the ache in your muscles be your inheritance. Let the calluses on your hands be the proof that you were here, that you acted, that you mattered. The world is changed by those who show up, day after day, refusing to back down. Do not pray for an easier path. Pray for the strength to walk the one before you. Do not pray for fewer problems. Pray for the discipline to face them head on. Every challenge is an invitation to grow. Every obstacle is an opportunity to act. When you force yourself to take massive action, you become a storm, unpredictable, undeniable, uncontainable. The world bends to those who refuse to bend to it. The winds of resistance will howl, but you will march through them. You will become the kind of person who does not wait for the weather to clear, but who sails straight into the hurricane and carves a path through the chaos. This is not about reckless motion or impulsive leaps. Massive action is not noise for its own sake. It is focused, intentional, purposeful. It is the discipline of doing the right things, not just the easy things. It is waking up when your body begs for more sleep, showing up when your mind is battered by doubt, pushing through the boredom and monotony that break the will of average men. It is refusing to negotiate with your excuses. Look at the world's greatest creators, inventors, and leaders. They did not achieve greatness by dabbling. They did not tiptoe into the shallow end. They cannonballed into the deep, knowing full well that the water would be cold, that the currents would be fierce. They burned the ships behind them and left themselves no escape route but forward. That is what it means to take massive action, to make a commitment so fierce, so total, that retreat is no longer an option. The Wright brothers did not build their flying machine by reading books about flight. They built it by cutting wood, hammering metal, enduring crash after crash, learning from every failure, forcing themselves to show up on the field day after day, wind-burned and bruised. They forced reality to make room for their vision. They refused to let the world's disbelief become their own. Let your own disbelief be the fuel, not the shackle. When your mind whispers, "Who are you to do this?" answer with action. When doubt gnaws at your resolve, drown it in the flood of your effort. Action is the only argument that matters. The world may doubt your words, but it cannot ignore your results. Massive action is not a phase or a project. It is a way of being. It is the daily discipline of saying yes to your vision and no to your excuses. It is the willingness to show up for yourself, even when the world turns its back. It is the commitment to keep building, brick by brick, even when the walls collapse and you are forced to start again. Understand that most people will not understand you. They will call you obsessed, reckless, unrealistic. They will try to anchor you to their own limitations because your commitment exposes their complacency. Do not let their disbelief become your ceiling. Let it become your springboard. Prove them wrong, not with arguments, but with achievements. You are not here to live a small life. You are not here to tiptoe through the years, gathering only what is easy. You are here to claim what is yours, to force your gifts into the world, to show what is possible when a single human being refuses to settle. Your dreams are not foolish. Your desires are not delusions. They are the call to action from the deepest part of you. Every time you force yourself to act, you narrow the gap between who you are and who you could be. Each action is an act of self-respect, a declaration that you are worthy of the life you desire. Do not wait for others to hand you opportunities. Create them. Do not wait for the stars to align. Move, and let the universe rearrange itself in response to your momentum. There will be pain. There will be sacrifice. There will be nights when you question everything, when the road ahead is dark, and the weight on your shoulders feels unbearable. In these moments, remember, discomfort is not a sign to stop, but a sign that you are on the right path. Growth lives on the other side of pain. Every act of will, every decision to move when it would be easier to rest, is a muscle built, a victory won. The world is full of those who almost did, who nearly tried, who came close. Do not be one of them. Do not let your story end with, "What if?" Let it ring with, "I did." Let it thunder with the echoes of relentless action. You do not have to know the entire path. You do not have to see the end from the beginning. The next step is always enough. Take it. Force yourself, even when you are uncertain. Especially when you are uncertain, the path will reveal itself to those who are brave enough to walk it. And when you are tired, when your heart aches and your hope is thin, remember that you are not just acting for yourself. You are acting for every person who will be inspired by your example, every dreamer who needs to see what is possible, every soul who needs proof that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they refuse to give up. Force yourself to take massive action, not because it is easy, but because it is the only way to become who you were born to be. Think of the world as a great stage, history as a vast arena littered with the ghosts of those who waited, who watched, who hoped, who hesitated. Every city skyline, every innovation, every leap forward was built by those who forced themselves to step out from the shadows and into the blinding light of action. The hands that built the railways, the architects who bent steel into towers, the visionaries who split the atom and mapped the stars, all were ordinary men and women who refused to let inertia become their legacy. Every time you move, every time you force your hand to write, your legs to run, your mind to solve, you join this lineage. You become part of the chain that pushes civilization forward, that drags humanity closer to its potential. Your actions, no matter how small they seem, matter. The world is shifted by inches, not miles. Massive action is not just the grand gesture, but the accumulation of thousands of small, stubborn choices. Your mind will try to deceive you. It will wrap you in the comfort of distraction, in the soft blanket of later. It will whisper that you are too tired, too busy, too late. But these are lies told by the part of you that fears change. The part of you that wants to stay safe, cocooned in the familiar. You must become ruthless with these lies. You must cut through them with the sword of action. There is no force in the universe more powerful than a made-up mind. When you decide, truly decide, that you will act, that you will move, the world shifts. The obstacles do not vanish, but you become larger than them. The road does not smooth, but your legs grow stronger. The only permission you need is your own. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are not a victim of fate. You are the sum of your decisions, the architect of your choices, the commander of your actions. Every day you wake up, you are given the gift of agency, the power to choose, the power to move, the power to force reality to bend ever so slightly to your will. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is the daily act of showing up, not for applause or recognition, but because you made a promise to yourself that you refuse to break. It is the refusal to negotiate with weakness, the relentless pursuit of your own potential. It is the inner steel that says, I will do what must be done, no matter how I feel, no matter what it costs. When the world is loud with distractions, discipline becomes your sanctuary. When others are seduced by comfort, discipline is your edge. It is the quiet, unglamorous work that separates the elite from the average. The difference between greatness and mediocrity is not talent, not luck, not opportunity. It is the willingness to do what others will not, to force action when everyone else retreats. You must become a student of your own resistance. Study it. Know its tactics. It will come dressed as fatigue, as self-doubt, as the seductive logic of tomorrow. But every time you force yourself to act in spite of resistance, you weaken its grip. You train your mind for battle. You become a warrior in the arena of life, scarred but unbreakable. There is a power in repetition, a strength in consistency. The first time you force yourself to act, it feels unnatural, uncomfortable, exhausting. But with every repetition, you lay new pathways in your mind. You build the muscle of discipline, the habit of momentum. What was once impossible becomes routine. What was once terrifying becomes exhilarating. Action, repeated enough, becomes identity. Let your standards become your fortress. Set them high. Refuse to accept less from yourself than you know you are capable of. Do not settle for good enough. Do not let the world lower your bar. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out, to raise the standard, to show what a human being can do when they decide to force the issue. Surround yourself with reminders of your vision. Write it on your walls. Speak it every morning. Let it become the drumbeat that guides your march through the day. When you are clear about what you want and ruthless about the actions you will take, The universe conspires in your favor. Doors appear where there were only walls. Allies arrive, opportunities emerge as if by magic. But it is not magic. It is the natural law of the universe. Action creates momentum, and momentum attracts results. Do not fear failure. Fear stagnation. Fear the slow death of your dreams in the waiting room of life. Failure is not the enemy. It is the tuition you pay for mastery. Every misstep, every setback, every painful lesson is a step forward if you refuse to let it stop you. The only true failure is to stop moving, to let the dust of inaction settle on your ambitions. Be relentless in your pursuit. Let your commitment be absolute, your resolve unbreakable. The world has enough people who almost did, who nearly tried, who waited just a little too long. Be the one who acted. Be the one who forced the gates open, who made things happen, who left the world different than you found it. In the years to come, when you look back on this moment, let it be the turning point. The day you decided to force yourself out of the fog and into the fire. The day you chose action over apathy, discipline over distraction, courage over comfort. Let it be the day your life turned on the axis of your own will. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It is not inherited, not assigned, not handed down like a family heirloom. It is seized by those who are willing to do what most never will. It is earned in the lonely hours, in the silence before dawn, in the refusal to let ordinary define you. The world's most celebrated lives began as ordinary people who made one extraordinary choice after another, to act, to fight, to persist, to force themselves forward. Think of the steel magnates and railroad kings who built empires from dust and sweat. Think of the mothers who raised generations through sacrifice and unspoken courage. Think of every artist, every scientist, every visionary who forced themselves to keep going when no one believed, when the odds mocked them, when the world closed its doors. Their secret was not luck or genius. Their secret was action. Massive, relentless, stubborn action. No one is coming to rescue your dreams. No one will knock on your door and hand you purpose, clarity, or drive. You are the answer you have been searching for. You are the hero of your own story. And the only way to step into that role is to move, to act, to make your intentions real through sweat and sacrifice. Ask yourself, what is the cost of inaction? What is the price you pay each day you delay, each day you shrink, each day you let fear and doubt dictate your steps? The cost is invisible at first, a slow erosion of potential, a quiet decay of spirit. But over time, it becomes a canyon, vast, unbridgeable, filled with the echoes of what could have been. Refuse to pay that price. Refuse to let your days slip by, traded for nothing. Force yourself to take the first step, and then the second, and the third. Let your life become a chain of action, each link forged in the fire of discipline. With every step, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you can trust yourself to do what needs to be done. Self-respect is built in the doing, not the dreaming. There will be days when the mountain seems too high, when the journey feels endless. On those days, shrink your focus. Forget the summit. Focus only on the next step, the next breath, the next act of courage. Massive action is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it is simply refusing to give up, refusing to stay down, refusing to let today be a repeat of yesterday. Let adversity be your forge. Let every setback be a lesson, every failure a stepping stone. The difference between the successful and the forgotten is not how many times they fell, but how many times they stood up, wiped the dust from their face, and forced themselves to try again. Resilience is built in these moments, brick by brick, scar by scar. Never underestimate the compounding power of daily action. The world is changed not by single acts of heroism, but by the steady, unyielding march of those who show up day after day, rain or shine. A single drop of water carves canyons in stone, not by force, but by persistence. Let your action be that drop, steady, unbreakable, relentless. Do not chase motivation. Do not wait for the lightning bolt of inspiration. Instead, build rituals, routines, and systems that make action inevitable. Design your environment so that it pulls you toward your goals. Set your standards so high that you cannot help but rise to meet them. Let your habits become your autopilot, your momentum carrying you forward even when your willpower wanes. Remember, the world does not care about your intentions. It only responds to your actions. The universe rewards movement, not meditation. It gives to the bold, the daring, the doers. Be among them. Let your life be a testament to what is possible when a human being decides to force their dreams into existence. You have a power inside you that is waiting to be awakened, a force that is released only when you act, when you move, when you refuse to let fear and doubt win. Every time you force yourself to do the hard thing, you wake up a little more. You become more alive, more capable, more unstoppable. Let others talk. Let others wait. Let others make excuses. You are here to move. You are here to create. You are here to force your life into alignment with your deepest values and boldest visions. Your legacy will not be written in the intentions you kept, but in the actions you took. There will be moments when you want to retreat, when the pain of progress feels too great. In these moments, remember why you started. Remember the vision that burns in your chest, the dream that keeps you awake at night. Let it drive you. Let it haunt you. Let it force you to rise again and again until the world bends and breaks beneath the weight of your will. Action is your alchemy. It is the way you turn the lead of your fears into the gold of your future. It is the bridge from who you are to who you must become. Every act, every step, every decision is a chisel in your hand, sculpting the masterpiece of your life. Do not let your life be a monument to what you almost did. Let it be a living, breathing testament to what you demanded of yourself, to the mountains you moved by sheer force of will. The graveyards are full of unstarted books, unspoken words, unsung songs, unlived adventures. But the world's most electrifying stories, the ones that set hearts ablaze, are those of people who refused to leave their dreams buried inside them. They forced their vision into existence, brick by brick, day by day, action by action. Feel the energy of those who came before you, those who stared into the void and chose to leap. Picture Steve Jobs, shunned and doubted, forcing himself back into the fray after every setback, chiseling the future with every stubborn, audacious act. Remember Helen Keller, who lived in a world of darkness and silence, but refused to accept limitation. She forced her way into the light, into language, into history, not because the path was easy, but because her will to act was greater than her fear of the unknown. You are not here to exist as a spectator. Life is not a rehearsal. You get one shot, one chance to make your mark, to turn your pain into power, your setbacks into stories of triumph. There is only one way to honor the gift of your existence. Force yourself to act, especially when it hurts, especially when it's hard, especially when the world expects you to fade. The mind is a masterful liar. It will tell you that you are not ready, that you need more time, that you are not worthy. It will summon every ghost of the past, every failure, every wound, and stack them before you like an unscalable wall. But action is the hammer that breaks that wall. Action is the medicine that cures the disease of self-doubt. The moment you move, the moment you force yourself to do what your mind resists, you reclaim agency over your story. You have never seen the full extent of your power, because you have never pushed yourself to the limit of your action. You have never met the strongest, wisest, most unstoppable version of yourself, because that version lives just beyond the barrier of your comfort. It is summoned only when you force yourself to go further than you've ever gone, to act longer than you've ever dared, to stand taller than you ever thought possible. Excellence is not an accident. It is not the result of luck or divine favor. It is the residue of discipline, the dust left behind by relentless, repeated action. If you want to change your body, your finances, your relationships, your destiny, change your habits of action. Measure your days not by what you intended, but by what you completed. Track your progress in footsteps, not fantasies. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, where the world seems unchanged by your effort. Do not be deceived. The seeds of today's relentless action are growing roots beneath the surface, preparing for a harvest that will surprise you. Most people quit just before the breakthrough. Most people abandon their post just before the walls fall. Refuse to be most people. Stay the course. Force yourself to act even when the reward is nowhere in sight. Let every day become a proving ground. Wake up with the conviction that you will do something that scares you, something that stretches you, something that moves you closer to the life you demand. Make discomfort your compass. Seek out the hard things, the scary things, the things no one else is willing to do. In that crucible, you will find your edge. In that furnace, you will forge your greatness. You must become immune to the opinions of others. The masses will always have something to say. They will project their own fears on your ambition, their own regrets on your progress. Pay them no mind. Their applause is as empty as their criticism. The only approval you need is the sense of pride that blooms when you know you have given your all, when you have forced yourself to act in the direction of your calling. The world is moved forward by those who act, not those who watch. Every revolution began with a single act of defiance. Every masterpiece began with a single stroke. Every business empire began with a single sale. Every epic journey began with a single, trembling step. Do not underestimate the power of your first move. Force yourself to begin, and let the winds of momentum carry you further than your fear ever dreamed. Commit to the process. Trust in the compound effect of massive action repeated endlessly. The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. But if you keep showing up, keep pouring yourself into your work, keep forcing yourself to move when others sleep, the harvest will come. It will arrive in ways you never imagined, at times you least expect, and it will make every ounce of effort worthwhile. You are not defined by what you failed to do yesterday. You are defined by what you choose to do now. Right now, in this breath, you can decide to change everything. You can force yourself to rise, to move, to build, to create. The past is a story. The future is a vision. Only action in the present has the power to turn one into the other. Let your life be a roar, not a whisper. Let your days be a blaze, not a smolder. The world is waiting for your fire. Do not deny it. Do not let fear, doubt, or comfort snuff out the flame. Fan it with action, feed it with discipline, unleash it with relentless, unapologetic effort. Your journey is not measured by the ground you have covered, but by the ground you are willing to claim. Each morning, you stand at the edge of possibility, a blank canvas waiting for your brush. The colors in your hand are not just talent or ambition, but the strokes of bold, decisive action. What will you paint today? Will you let the brush tremble in hesitation? Or will you throw color onto the world so violently and fearlessly that it cannot help but take notice? There is a force inside you, ancient and electric, that is awakened every time you move against your resistance. It is the primal memory of every ancestor who survived by acting, who thrived by daring, who carved civilization from wilderness with nothing but their hands and their will. You are the inheritor of this legacy. Every time you force yourself to take massive action, you honor those who came before you, and you blaze a trail for all who will follow. Your mind is a battlefield, and every action is a victory against the armies of doubt. You will hear the voices, internal and external, telling you to slow down, to shrink, to settle. Ignore them. Hear instead the call of your own potential, the roar of what you could become if you simply refuse to stop. The path of transformation is littered with the bones of those who quit too soon. But for those who keep moving, who keep forcing themselves forward, there is no limit. Imagine the world you wish to live in. See it in vivid detail. The relationships, the health, the success, the impact. Now realize that the only thing standing between that world and the one you live in now is action, not intention, not desire, not potential. Action. The bridge is built step by step, with sweat and focus and a refusal to turn back. Discipline is the architect of your future. It is the promise you make to yourself and the promise you keep day after day. When the initial fire has faded and all that is left is the grind, the champions of the world, on fields, in boardrooms, on stages, are not the ones who act when it's easy, but the ones who act when no one is watching, when the applause has faded and the lights have gone out. They force themselves to show up, and in doing so, they outlast the competition. Do not be seduced by shortcuts. There are no hacks, no loopholes, no easy ways out. Every shortcut is a detour from mastery. The only way is through. The only path is paved with the daily, often unremarkable, sometimes excruciating acts of will. Day after day, you stack one brick on another until one day you look up and realize you have built a fortress. Let gratitude be your companion on this journey. Not the passive kind that sits quietly, but the fierce kind that burns in your chest and powers you through the storms. Be grateful for the chance to struggle, for the opportunity to build, for the privilege of pain. Every challenge is a lesson, every setback a teacher. The greatest gratitude is shown not in words, but in the relentless action you take with the time you are given. Understand this. The world is not waiting for your perfection. It is waiting for your progress. It is waiting for you to get up one more time, to try again in the face of failure, to rise after every fall. It is waiting to see what happens when you refuse to be ordinary. Perfection is the enemy of progress. The most beautiful, impactful, world-changing things were built by imperfect people, acting imperfectly, but refusing to quit. Let your vision be relentless. See it in your mind's eye every day. Let it guide your hands, your words, your steps. When the world says it is impossible, let your action be the answer. When the world doubts, let your results be the proof. When the world sleeps, let your hustle be the thunder that wakes it up. There will be pain. There will be days when your faith is tested, when nothing seems to move, when your progress is invisible even to yourself. In these moments, remember, pain is the price of admission to greatness. Suffering is the sculptor of the soul. Every tear, every scar, every sleepless night adds depth to your character and power to your story. There is a unique power in relentless pursuit. When you force yourself to keep moving, even an inch at a time, you become unstoppable. You become inevitable. The world may resist at first. Doors may close. People may laugh. But the universe cannot withstand the assault of sustained, unyielding action. Sooner or later, it yields. The stone gives way to the river. The mountain bows to the persistent wind. Be patient, but never passive. Patience is not waiting. It is working quietly, fiercely, behind the scenes, trusting that your massive action will compound into miracles. Momentum is your ally. Every day you move, you collect another drop in the reservoir of progress, and one day the dam will burst. The results will arrive, sudden and overwhelming, built on the foundation of every hard-fought inch. Do not measure your life by the applause, by the trophies, by the recognition. Measure it by the moments when you forced yourself to act in the face of fear. Measure it by the days when you wanted to quit but chose to move. Measure it by the impact you leave, the lives you touch, the example you set for those watching quietly from the shadows, hoping you will show them the way. Every time you force yourself to act, you send a message to the universe: I am alive, I am willing, I am unbreakable. You become a living testament to the idea that action transcends fear. That movement defeats doubt, that the will to do outweighs the urge to shrink back. Your energy changes the room. Your discipline reshapes the day. Your example sets off invisible waves, echoes of courage that ripple outward, awakening possibility in everyone you meet. You must realize that your journey is not just about you. Your action, your discipline, your refusal to quit, these are the seeds you plant in the hearts of others. Somewhere, a friend, a child, a stranger is watching. They see you press on when it's raining, when it's lonely, when the world says no. They see you force yourself to rise from your knees, to build when others destroy, to speak when silence is easier. And you become for them a lighthouse in the fog. You show them how to move. There is a sacredness in the decision to act. The moment you move, you part the waters of your own limitations. The Red Sea of your excuses rolls back, and you walk forward on dry land. History is made by those who act first and figure it out later. The world rewards the pioneer, the builder, the relentless doer, not the critic, not the spectator, not the perfectionist waiting for certainty. Let your doubts come, let your fears howl, let the storms rage, and then walk anyway, move anyway, build anyway. The most powerful force in the universe is the human spirit, set on fire by conviction and made unstoppable by action. If you want to change the world, if you want to change your life, you must first change your relationship with discomfort. You must become the kind of person who seeks out the hard things, who forces themselves to grow in the furnace of adversity. Be honest with yourself. Are you doing what you know you should? Are you moving as powerfully as you could? Or are you hiding in the illusion of preparation, stuck in the waiting room of your own life? No more. Today is the day you break the chains. Today is the day you force yourself to cross the threshold, to step into the arena, to claim what is yours. You will never regret the work. You will never regret the sweat, the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices. What you will regret is the time you wasted, the dreams you abandoned, the actions you never took. Regret is the companion of the passive. Let it haunt someone else, not you. Become a builder. Build your body through disciplined action. Build your mind by learning, by reading, by questioning. Build your spirit by serving, by loving, by giving more than you take. Build your life by stacking action upon action until your foundation is so strong that nothing can shake you. Not failure, not rejection, not the opinions of the world. The secret is not to feel powerful before you act. The secret is to act and let the feeling follow. Courage, confidence, clarity. These are not requirements for massive action, but the results of it. Every great leader was once a trembling beginner. Every master once a clueless apprentice. What separated them from everyone else was the decision to move, again and again, until the world could not ignore them. You will meet resistance. You will face setbacks. You will be tempted to shrink to fit the expectations of others. Do not. Expand. Grow. Outrun their doubts. Outwork their apathy. Outlast their skepticism. Prove, not with words, but with relentless, consistent action, that you are a force of nature. Unstoppable, undeniable, unforgettable. If you want to be remembered, make your days unforgettable. Stack enough powerful days and you build a powerful life. Stack enough powerful actions and you build a legacy. The greatest monuments are built one stone at a time, and so is greatness, so is character, so is destiny. Do not fear the unknown. The unknown is where the magic lies. Force yourself to go where you have never been, to do what you have never done, to become who you have never been. Each time you step into uncertainty, you grow. Each time you force yourself to act without all the answers, you discover strength and wisdom and courage you never knew were yours. The people who changed the world were not the ones with the best resources, the best circumstances, or the most talent. They were the ones who refused to let any of that become an excuse. They forced themselves to do more with what they had, to squeeze every ounce of potential from every moment, to act until the world bent around their will. And so must you. Refuse to be average. Refuse to be defined by your past, your pain, or your limitations. Refuse to be a passenger. Take the wheel. Slam your foot on the gas. Force yourself forward, even if your hands shake, even if your heart pounds, even if your mind screams for mercy. This is your life. This is your story. The only thing standing between you and everything you desire is action. Massive, relentless, uncompromising action. The kind that makes history. The kind that forges legends. The kind that will make you look back years from now and say, I did not wait. I did not wish. I moved. I built. I lived. There is something holy about the struggle, something sacred about the sweat and strain required to force yourself to take massive action day after day. The trials you face are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to grow tougher, smarter, more resilient than you ever imagined. Each time you push through resistance, you carve away weakness and reveal the steel beneath. Each time you face down discomfort and act anyway, you become a little less human, a little more unstoppable. Understand, victory is not a random event. It is a habit. The habit of showing up when you don't feel like it. The habit of grinding through the mornings when your body begs for rest. Of staying at your post when your mind invents every reason to quit. When you forge this habit, something miraculous happens. You stop waiting for life to hand you what you want, and instead, you demand it through action. No one remembers the intentions you kept secret. No one is moved by the plans you never started. The world is changed by the builders, the makers, the relentless doers who force themselves to create even when inspiration is gone. They are remembered not for the dreams they had, but for the realities they built. The pain of discipline is temporary, a fleeting discomfort that sharpens your edge and builds your strength. But the pain of regret lasts forever. It is the ache of unused potential, the slow burn of knowing you could have done more, been more, if only you had forced yourself to act. Let that pain propel you forward. Let it be the fire that burns away your excuses. There is a profound freedom in responsibility. When you acknowledge that your life is yours alone to shape, you free yourself from the chains of blame and circumstance. Every time you choose to act, you reclaim a piece of your power. You become the sculptor and the stone, the author and the ink. You step out of the shadow of maybe and into the light of I will. Most people are ruled by their feelings. They let emotions dictate their effort, let moods control their momentum. But feelings are weather, changeable, unpredictable, often misleading. The path to greatness is traveled by those who act regardless of how they feel, who force themselves to move even when the inner storm rages. Discipline is the anchor that holds you steady amidst the chaos. Be relentless in your pursuit, but gentle with yourself in the struggle. Understand that growth is not always a straight line. Progress is often messy, full of setbacks and surprises. You will fall, you will fail, but falling is not the end. It is the invitation to rise. Each time you do, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the circumstance, that you are worthy of the dreams you chase. Surround yourself with reminders of why you started. Write your goals where you can see them. Speak your vision into existence every day. Let your environment become a garden of action, planted with affirmations, watered with discipline, bathed in the sunlight of your own relentless pursuit. When you feel lost, return to your why. Let it be the North Star that guides your steps through uncertainty. Celebrate every step, every act of courage. Every moment you force yourself to move is a victory. It is a vote for the person you are becoming. Stack enough of these victories, and you will look back one day and marvel at the distance you've covered, at the heights you've reached, at the legacy you've built. You must learn to love the process. The world is obsessed with outcomes, but the makers of history are obsessed with the craft. It is in the daily work, the repetitive grind, the unglamorous hours that mastery is born. When you fall in love with the process, you make action its own reward. The results become inevitable. Remember, massive action is not a one-time event. It is a way of living. It is the refusal to coast, to settle, to let a single day pass without moving the needle forward. It is the discipline to do what needs to be done, even when no one else is watching, even when no one else understands. You are not here to be average. You are not here to play small. You are here to force yourself to rise, to build, to create, to lead. You are here to show the world what is possible when a single person decides to act again and again until the impossible becomes reality. So take the next step, and the one after that. Use your fear as fuel, your doubt as a compass, your failures as stepping stones. Force yourself to move, to build, to become. The world is waiting for your fire. Ignite it with action. Set your life ablaze with relentless, massive, uncompromising effort. The moment you decide that your actions will outlast your excuses, you become a force of nature. You become the person who doesn't just dream, but delivers, who doesn't just wish, but wins. The world opens doors for those who refuse to wait for permission. When you move, you signal to life itself that you are ready to receive, to endure, to conquer. Every act of massive action rewires your identity. You begin to see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a creator of outcomes. You stop asking, "Will this work?" and start declaring, "I will make it work." That shift, subtle, internal, but absolute, is the difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of meaning. The more you force yourself to act, the more evidence you gather that you can be relied upon. You build a track record with yourself, a history of courage, of follow-through, of undeniable progress. And with each step, momentum builds. Momentum is the invisible hand that lifts you over obstacles, that quiets the doubter in your mind, that turns struggle into stride. At first, every action feels like a battle. But as you persist, the ground beneath you shifts. What was once impossible becomes your new normal. What was once terrifying becomes your source of pride. Do not envy the successful. Study their scars. They are not where they are because they were spared the struggle, but because they forced themselves to act when it would have been easier to quit. They saw rejection as a redirection, failure as feedback, pain as proof that they were stretching beyond their limits. They did not escape fear. They learned to act in the face of it. That is your path as well. There is a rhythm to relentless action. You wait, you move, you build, you fail, you rise, you repeat, over and over, until the world can no longer ignore your presence, until your results speak louder than your words, your habits shout louder than your hopes. The discipline you forge today becomes the freedom you enjoy tomorrow. Never let comfort make a coward of you. Comfort is the silent thief of greatness. It will wrap you in routine, lull you to sleep, and rob you of the urgency that drives the bold to act. Discomfort, on the other hand, is the birthplace of every breakthrough. When you force yourself to lean into challenge, you tap into reservoirs of strength you never knew you had. The life you want is already within your grasp if you are willing to pay the price. The price is action. The price is the willingness to look foolish, to stumble, to sweat, to bleed, to keep going when there is no applause, no guarantee, no clear finish line. The price is living each day as if it matters, because it does. There are people who need you to rise. People who are waiting for your example, for your leadership, for your courage to light the way. Your refusal to settle isn't just personal. It's a gift to the world. When you force yourself to act, you create possibility not just for yourself, but for everyone who will ever witness your journey. The clock is ticking. Life is not a rehearsal. Every day you hesitate is a day lost forever, a day that could have been a turning point. Do not wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, messy, uncertain, glorious now. The future belongs to those who seize it, who shape it, who force themselves into its waiting arms. You will be tempted to pause, to rest, to wait for clarity. But clarity comes through action, not before it. The fog only lifts for those who walk into it. The path only reveals itself to those who take the first step. Trust the process. Trust your resilience. Trust in your own ability to adapt, to learn, to grow stronger with every setback. Let your life be a collection of bold decisions, not timid regrets. Let your story be a highlight reel of comebacks and breakthroughs, not a list of what-ifs. When all is said and done, let it be known that you were a person of action, that you refused to live on the sidelines, that you forced yourself to play full out, to give everything, to leave nothing in reserve. You hold the pen. You write the story. With every act of massive action, you carve your legacy into the bedrock of time. Make it a legacy worth remembering. There will come a day when you look back at this very moment, the one you're living right now, and realize it was a crossroads. The day you chose to break the cycle of hesitation. The day you drew a line in the sand and declared, "From here forward, I act." That decision will echo through every chapter of your life. It will become the spark that ignites a chain reaction of victories. big and small, that redefine what you believe is possible. Massive action is not about giant leaps every single day. It's about refusing to stand still. Sometimes it's a bold move. Sometimes it's a quiet commitment. Sometimes it's working late after everyone else has turned out the lights. Sometimes it's saying no to a distraction or yes to a new challenge. The size of the action matters less than the consistency. Every day you move, every day you build, every day you refuse to give in to inertia, you are winning. You cannot outsource your greatness. No one else can do the push-ups for you. No one else can write your pages, run your miles, have that hard conversation, take that first terrifying step. Only you can make the call. Only you can force your body and mind to move when they want to rest. The responsibility is yours, and that is exactly where your power lies. There will be moments when you want to quit. Moments when the voice inside your head tells you it's not worth it, that you're not enough, that you'll never see the payoff. In those moments, remember, the voice of doubt is loudest just before the breakthrough. That's the sign you're on the edge of something important. That's when you must force yourself to act, not because you're unafraid, but because you're unwilling to let fear win. You are not meant for a life of smallness. You are not here to tiptoe through your days, apologizing for your ambition or shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. You are here to expand, to lead, to create, to leave a mark so deep that the world can never quite return to what it was before you arrived. That is the power of massive action, of refusing to settle, of refusing to let another day slip by unclaimed. Every act of courage compounds. Every time you force yourself to do the hard thing, you build a reserve of strength for the next challenge. You become the kind of person who does hard things, not just once, not just when it's easy, but as a way of life. And that is the rarest, most valuable currency in the world: self-trust. The unshakable belief that you can count on yourself to act no matter what. Picture the moment when you realize you've become unstoppable, not because you never stumble, but because you never stay down, because you have made action your default setting, because you have built your life, one decision at a time, on the foundation of, I will find a way. That is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the builders, the spectators from the legends. And remember, you are not alone. The path of relentless action is walked by a rare, determined tribe. The ones who rise before dawn, who work when others rest, who see obstacles as opportunities and setbacks as stepping stones. Join them. Become one of them. Let your name be spoken with respect, not because of what you hoped for, but because of what you forced into reality. Let each sunrise be a reminder that you have another chance to move, to build, to become. Let each sunset be a testament to the progress you made, not in perfection, but in effort, in motion, in the refusal to let another day go by without claiming it for your future. This is your time. This is your life. The world will not wait. The clock will not pause. Your dreams will not chase themselves. Stand up, step forward, force yourself to take massive action, and keep taking it until the world knows your name, until your story inspires others to rise, until you have nothing left to give and everything left to live for. Maybe you worry that your actions are too small, that your efforts will disappear into the noise of the world. But remember, every avalanche begins with a single trembling stone. Every revolution is sparked by a single voice, raised not in assurance, but in defiance. You may not see the impact of your action in the moment, but the world is always watching, always shifting in response to the focused energy of even one determined soul. There will be days when you must act in the darkness, when no one is there to praise you, when your results are invisible and your progress feels slow. These are the days that matter most. These are the days that forge character. Every time you force yourself to move without applause, you build an inner strength that cannot be shaken by circumstance or opinion. Let this be your creed. I do not wait for ideal conditions. I do not wait for certainty or comfort. I create momentum by moving. By refusing to sit out my own life. I force the world to take notice, not with noise or bravado, but with relentless, undeniable results. Understand that every action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Each time you force yourself to do what's needed, even when it's hard or tedious or scary, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're reshaping your identity. You become a person who can be trusted with responsibility, with leadership, with greatness. There will be sacrifices. There will be late nights, lonely mornings, missed parties, and moments of doubt. But the pain of discipline is nothing compared to the agony of regret. The world is full of people who almost did, who nearly tried, who let comfort steal their chance at greatness. Refuse to be one of them. If you ever find yourself drifting, losing momentum, return to your why. Revisit the vision that first lit the fire inside you. Remember who you are fighting for, your future, your family, your legacy. Let that vision pull you forward when willpower fades. And then act. Even if it's just one step, even if it's just one phone call, one page, one rep, one honest conversation. Massive action is built on the foundation of small, consistent, courageous decisions. You are more powerful than you know. The limits you feel are not walls, but thresholds, meant to be crossed. Each time you force yourself to go a little further, to last a little longer, to push a little harder, you shatter the old boundaries and set new ones. Progress is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, even invisible. But if you keep moving, keep acting, keep forcing yourself forward, you will wake up one day and realize you have become unstoppable. Let your life become a testament to tenacity. Let your story be the one that others whisper about, wondering how you did it, how you kept going, how you refused to quit. The answer will never be a secret or a shortcut. It will always be action, massive, relentless, disciplined action. And when you reach your summit, when you stand on the peak and look back at the valley below, you will know the truth. It was not talent that brought you here, nor luck, nor accident. It was your decision to move, your willingness to act in the face of fear, your refusal to let another day pass without progress. That is the legacy of the action taker. So wherever you are, whatever mountain you face, whatever dream still burns inside you, start now. Move, build, speak, create. Force yourself to take massive action and keep taking it until the world cannot help but remember your name. Let today be the day you rewrite your story, not with intentions, but with deeds. Let today be the day you prove to yourself and to the world that nothing is beyond the reach of a soul on fire with purpose and armed with relentless action. You must understand this life does not reward the one who waits. It rewards the one who shows up again and again, regardless of the weather, regardless of the mood, regardless of the odds. The tides of fortune shift for those who refuse to stand still. Action is the lever that moves the world, and you are the hand that pulls it. When you force yourself to act, you engage in a kind of alchemy. You take fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the raw materials of inertia, and transform them into progress, into lessons, into strength. Each time you move despite resistance, you forge a new link in the chain of your own unbreakable will. Soon, you realize you are no longer the person who hesitates. You are the one who moves, who builds, who changes the landscape simply by refusing to stop. Do not underestimate the power of your own example. You may think your journey is your own, but your courage echoes far and wide. Others see you rise and are quietly given permission to do the same. Your discipline becomes a blueprint, your persistence a rallying cry for those trapped in their own cycles of indecision. When you force yourself to act, you become a leader, not by title, but by the authority of your effort. You will encounter naysayers, critics, those who scoff at your ambition or dismiss your progress. Let their skepticism be fuel, not friction. Let their doubt sharpen your resolve, not dull your spirit. Every great achievement was once ridiculed, dismissed, declared impossible, until someone forced it into reality. Be that someone. There is a freedom that comes only through action, a freedom from regret, from what ifs, from the haunting ache of wasted time. When you act, you release yourself from the prison of potential and step into the wide, wild country of possibility. The world opens up to those who knock, who push, who dare to demand more from themselves and their circumstances. You must be willing to embrace imperfection. Progress is messy. The first draft is clumsy, the first attempt awkward, the first step shaky. But every master was once a novice. Every expert was once a beginner, fumbling in the dark, forcing themselves forward with nothing but hope and grit. Let go of the need to be flawless. Perfection is a mirage that keeps you parched on the shores of your own potential. Action is the water, messy, vital, life-giving. Make a vow to yourself, I will not leave this life with my song unsung, my dreams untried, my gifts unused. I will force myself to act, even when my hands tremble and my heart pounds. I will build something that outlasts me, not by waiting for the world to hand me a script, but by writing my own with every bold, relentless decision. There will be days when you fall short, when you miss the mark, when your energy wanes. Be gentle with yourself, but do not let yourself off the hook. Rest if you must, but never retreat. The habit of action is not about never faltering, but about always returning, always rising, always moving, always pushing the edge of what you thought possible. Remember that your time is finite. The sand slips through the hourglass whether you act or not. Let this truth ignite urgency in your soul. Let it be the constant reminder that every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. Every day you act is a day you move closer to the person you are meant to become. Let your legacy be action. Let your memory be movement. When others speak of you, let them say, they were the one who never waited, never wavered, never wasted a moment. Let your life be the spark that lights 1,000 other fires. So get up, move forward, do the thing, make the call, write the sentence, lift the weight, speak the truth, build the dream, force yourself again and again until action is no longer a choice but a way of life, until you have become the very embodiment of progress itself. This is how you honor your potential. This is how you change your world. This is how you become unforgettable. You must realize that action is not just a means to an end. It is the end itself. It is the proof that you are alive, that you are engaged in the great experiment of living. Every time you force yourself to move, to try to build, you choose to participate in life rather than watch it pass you by. And with each action, you carve out a place for yourself in the story of the world. There's a hidden power in starting before you're ready. The world's greatest journeys began with trembling hands and uncertain hearts. No one ever feels fully prepared for greatness. The universe rewards those who leap before the net appears, who trust that the path will form beneath their feet as long as they keep stepping forward. Waiting for certainty is the surest way to miss your moment. The only certainty comes through movement, through forcing your way through the fog of doubt. Action is the antidote to anxiety. When your mind spins in circles, paralyzed by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, movement is your medicine. Do something, anything, that moves you closer to your goal. You'll find that fear cannot survive in the presence of momentum. The moment you take that first step, you reclaim your power from the grip of indecision. You are not here to live a life of quiet desperation, trading your days for comfort and routine. You are here to test your limits, to chase down your calling, to squeeze every ounce of potential from this one precious life. Force yourself to take action that scares you, that stretches you, that makes you question whether you're capable. That is the only way to discover just how powerful you really are. Massive action is a declaration of intent, a sign to yourself and to the world that you refuse to be passive. Every step forward is a messaging: I am not content to let life happen to me. I will happen to life. I will create, I will mold, I will shape my circumstances through sheer force of will and relentless effort. You will find allies on this path, other action takers, other builders and doors. You will recognize them by the fire in their eyes, the coluses on their hands, the quiet confidence in their step. Surround yourself with these people. Let their energy fuel your own. Iron sharpens iron, and a life surrounded by those who move will only accelerate your own momentum. But know as well there will always be resistance. The world is full of inertia, full of voices urging you to slow down, to blend in, to accept. Good enough. Do not listen. The masses are not your mentors. Most live lives of regret, haunted by the things they never did. Let their inaction be your warning. Let their comfort be your cautionary tale. Every time you act, you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You become the cause, not the effect. You stop waiting for a break and start making your own luck. The universe bows to the will of the relentless. Opportunities appear for those who hunt them down, who build them brick by brick, choice by choice. Let your rituals anchor you. Build routines that make action inevitable. Set your alarm for the hour of champions. Fill your space with reminders of your mission. Automate the basics so your mind is free for higher work. Let your habits become the rails on which your dreams can run day after day with less friction and more force. And when doubt creeps in, as it always does, remember the truth: action is the cure. You do not need more confidence to act. You need more action to build confidence. Every time you force yourself to move, you gather evidence that you are capable. Each victory, no matter how small, stacks atop the last until your self-belief becomes unshakable. There will be seasons when progress is slow, when setbacks seem unending, when the finish line retreats like a mirage. In these seasons, double down on action. Refuse to negotiate with fatigue or boredom or disappointment. Let your legacy be written in the language of perseverance. Let your story be one that echoes long after you are gone, not because you waited, but because you moved. This is the secret of every great life action, stacked upon action, until the world cannot ignore you, until your dreams are no longer distant, but real, tangible, a part of the world because you forced them to be. One day, you will be asked how you did it, how you crossed the chasm from where you started to where you stand, and your answer will not be a secret, not a shortcut, not some stroke of luck. It will be simple. I moved. I acted. I refused to let another day slip by without progress. I built my future one decision at a time, one disciplined action after another, until momentum carried me where hope alone never could. You will remember the early mornings, the late nights, the moments of doubt and exhaustion. You will remember the resistance, the voice urging you to quit, the temptation to settle, the comfort of the familiar. And you will remember the moment you chose to rise anyway, the moment you forced yourself to do the work, to take the step, to show up when no one else would. Those moments will become the foundation of your story, the proof that greatness is built in the quiet, lonely hours when no one is watching. Never forget, you are always one action away from a different reality. One phone call, one conversation, one bold leap. The life you want does not exist somewhere far away. It is waiting on the other side of massive, relentless, imperfect action. The only way to reach it is to move, to build, to keep going, no matter what stands in your way. There will be chapters when everything seems to go against you, when progress is invisible and reward feels impossibly distant. These are the crucibles where champions are made. These are the days that test your resolve, that ask you whether you are truly committed or merely interested. In those moments, action is your answer. Not hope, not waiting, not wishing, action. You must outlast your obstacles. You must become so relentless, so consistent, so committed to moving forward that nothing can stop you for long. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. The only true defeat is giving up, refusing to act, surrendering your power to circumstance or fear. The world is full of people who talk, who plan, who dream, but history is written by those who do. The legacy of the action taker is not just personal success, but the example you set for everyone who follows. When you force yourself to move beyond your limits, you show others that it is possible. You become a living permission slip for others to rise. Let your persistence be louder than your pain. Let your discipline overshadow your doubt. Let your movement become a force of nature, steady, unyielding, impossible to ignore. When you build your days on massive action, you build a life that is proof that anything is possible for those who refuse to wait. You will never regret the hours you spent building, moving, pushing, growing. You will only regret the days you wasted, the chances you never took, the dreams you let drift away. Let that truth be your fuel. Let it drive you to move now, to act now, to build now, because now is all you ever truly have. And when the world asks for your secret, you will tell them, there is no secret. I simply refuse to be a passenger. I forced myself to take massive action every day until my dreams became my reality. Let this be your promise. Never again will you wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect plan. Perfection is a mirage that keeps you thirsty, chasing an oasis that never arrives. Progress is made by the imperfect, the bold, the relentless. Those who act even when the path is unclear, even when the outcome is uncertain. Let your life be a living defiance of hesitation. Every time you force yourself to take action, you quiet the voice of fear and amplify the voice of possibility. You show yourself, again and again, that you are not defined by your feelings, but by your decisions. The power of choice is yours every single day, and each time you choose action over comfort, discipline over distraction, you stack another brick on the monument of your own excellence. Imagine looking back years from now on the legacy you've built. You will not remember every stumble, every awkward beginning, every moment of doubt. What will echo in your memory is the pattern, the unmistakable rhythm of someone who kept moving, kept building, kept forcing their vision into reality, no matter how rough the road. There is a kind of magic that happens when you become known as a person of action. Opportunities start to find you. People begin to trust you. Doors that once seemed locked begin to open, not because luck has changed, but because you have. You have become someone who creates their own momentum, who shapes their own destiny with every step. Let the world be noisy with opinions and criticism. You do not have time to explain yourself to those who aren't building anything. Let your results be your response. Let your relentless movement be your message. When others hesitate, you act. When others talk, you build. When others settle, you press on. Remember, action is contagious. When you move, you inspire others to move. When you rise, you lift others with you. That is the true reward of relentless action. Not just what you achieve for yourself, but what you awaken in the world around you. Your courage becomes a torch, lighting the way for those who are still trapped in the shadows of doubt. So, what now? Now you act. Now you move. Now you force yourself to do what needs to be done. No matter how small, no matter how hard, you take the next step, and then the next, and then the next, until the impossible becomes inevitable, and your story stands as proof that greatness is a choice made daily in action. The clock is ticking. The days are passing. The only question is, will you move? Will you build? Will you force your life into greatness by sheer, relentless action? The answer is in your hands. Make it count. There is a line that separates those who merely exist from those who truly live, and that line is drawn by action. To cross it is to declare, I will not be a spectator in my own life. I will be the author, the architect, the driving force behind every chapter. Each day, you have the chance to step over that line, not just once, but over and over, with every decision, every effort, every refusal to let fear or fatigue dictate your direction. The world owes you nothing, and that is its greatest gift, because it means you owe yourself everything. You are free to write your own rules, to set your own standards, to define your own victory. The only price is action. The only currency is effort. The only requirement is the willingness to keep moving forward, especially when no one is watching. You must become ruthless with your own potential. Do not let dreams wither on the vine of procrastination. Do not let another day end with your best work still locked inside you. There will always be reasons to wait, to hesitate, to hold back, but none of them will matter when the final chapter is written. What will matter is whether you forced yourself to act, to build, to leave your mark on the world. Let your actions be louder than your doubts. Let your movement drown out the noise of excuses. With every step you take, you reinforce a new identity, the identity of a doer, a builder, a relentless creator. And as that identity grows, so does your capacity, your ability to take on bigger challenges, to weather greater storms, to inspire others by example. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need certainty to continue. All you need is the willingness to move, to learn, to adapt, to keep going when others stop. Every breakthrough in history began as an act of defiance. Someone refusing to accept the status quo, someone forcing themselves to try one more time, to give one more ounce of effort, to believe in the possibility of more. The world is changed by those who refuse to accept that they are finished growing. Each time you act, you cast a vote for the person you wish to become, and over time, those votes add up. They become a life, a legacy, a story worth telling. So don't just dream, do. Don't just plan, build. Don't just wish, act. Make today the day you force yourself to move, no matter how small the step, no matter how heavy the resistance. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, until your actions have transformed not only your world, but the worlds of everyone who dares to follow your lead. This is your time. This is your calling. Force yourself to rise. The world is waiting for what only you can give. And so, when the dust settles and the years have passed, what will remain is not the comfort you clung to, nor the ease you protected, but the actions you took. The world will remember you not for your intentions, but for your impact, not for what you dreamed, but for what you dared to do. Let your life be a testament to the power of movement. Let your story be one of action, of bold beginnings, of relentless persistence, of triumphant comebacks. Let it be said that you did not wait, you did not wish, you did not wonder. You forced yourself to act again and again until the extraordinary became your new reality. You have always had the power. The world will try to convince you otherwise, but the truth is unshakable. Every day you choose action, you choose greatness. Every day you force yourself to move, you shape your destiny. Every day you build, you inspire. Seen or unseen, your fire lights the way. So rise, move, build, create. Let your days blaze with purpose and your nights rest easy, knowing you gave everything you had. Refuse a life of almost. Refuse a legacy of what-ifs. Demand more from yourself, and the world will have no choice but to rise with you. When the final page is written, let it say this: here was someone who did not wait for permission, who did not hide from the hard road, who forced their dreams into existence with relentless, uncompromising action. This is your story. Make it unforgettable.